Today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the Star Ace Captain Virgil Hilts 1/6 scale collectible action figure from the movie The Great Escape. Not even so much Captain Virgil Hilts, but we are finally getting a Steve McQueen in a 1/6 scale collectible action figure treatment. This comes to us from the folks over at Star Ace. The same folks that were releasing those incredible Harry Potter figures have now delved back into some of the classic movies, and this one from the 1963 classic, The Great Escape. Spot has a soft spot for classic movies, especially Steve McQueen movies. Both Bullet and The Great Escape were movies that I sat down and watched with my dad. So movies like this and characters like this really have a soft spot for me. The front of the box, kind of in a caramel color, features a silhouetted version or a black and white version treatment of Captain Virgil Hilts on his motorcycle. Spot's going to try to do his best not to ruin any plots or stories of The Great Escape. But if you haven't seen The Great Escape, please do yourself a favor, go back and watch it. Or if you guys have watched it, let me know down below what you guys think of that movie. A classic movie. The side of the box, also we are treated to Captain Virgil Hilts on his motorcycle. It says Captain Virgil Hilts, Steve McQueen, from my favorite Legend series, Steve McQueen, and this is actually SA0003. The back of the box, once again the classic scene of Virgil Hilts on his motorcycle, 1/6 scale collectible action figure from my favorite Legend series, 1/6 scale collectible treatment. You have your warning, your choking hazard, small parts not for children under 3 years of age. This is an adult collectible, it's not a toy, and it's recommended for ages 15 and up. What you can also do with the box too is the front flap will open up, giving you some images of not only Steve McQueen on the inside, but the figure itself with all of his multitude of accessories. Spot's going to take himself a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Star Ace Captain Virgil Hilts 1/6 scale collectible action figure from the movie The Great Escape. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Just before we have a look at the Steve McQueen figure, let's first have a look at this awesome display stand that comes with the figure. We kind of have like a dirt ground area with some stones. We've got a couple of broken posts here, some bullets, and Great Escape on the front placard here. There's also a tank tread on the, or motorcycle tread on the side there where the tire would have gone over. And affixed to the display stand is a clear pole. The pole actually just sits inside the little hole socket there and clips into place, and then you can display the figure from the supplied clear post with the adjustable waist clip. One thing I would stress caution with though is the clip itself. The clip is clear plastic, so I would say when you're adjusting this clip, don't adjust it like this. You want to kind of manually adjust each of these. Just because it is clear plastic, you don't want this breaking. But the display stand is really impressive. It's when you get the Steve McQueen also on his display stand that you can really see how well he showcases. I tip my hat to the folks over at Star Ace, not only when you get a really great figure, because you can get a good, solid 6 scale figure, but sometimes it can also boil down to the way that you present them. And that's one thing that Star Ace seems to factor in. Both the Harry Potter and the Ron Weasley that we've already looked at, they gave you the means to display both characters on their brooms. Great, phenomenal way to display them. A character such as Steve McQueen here, or Virgil Hilts, to get him on a kind of a dirt ground area with the Great Escape featured down below, I mean, it's a great way to display the piece. The figure would look great anyways without displaying it on something like this, but this instantly kind of puts you in a scene relative to the Great Escape. It's not just simply a display stand, a black display stand, the character's standing on it. I mean, this is a way that you would want to present the figure. Captain Hilts is sporting a pair of khaki-style pants, a pair of brown boots. He's got his blue shirt on, and as well as has a flight jacket. all of which are really well detailed, right down to his jacket. I think the jacket is the nicest aspect of it. He's got this, again, flight aviator's jacket. There's a little bit of orange interior to it. And even right on the side, he's got V Hilts, or Virgil Hilts. There's some details as well on the side, aviator's patch. It has that faux leather look to it. Now, Spot reviewed the Rocketeer to a very disappointing end result. That leather chipped, flaked off. This seems like a much more quality leather piece. It does look like a smaller leather jacket, just on a 6 scale figure. You can also remove the jacket as well, and probably the easiest way to do that is first take the hands, just pop them out of the arm sockets just so that the hands aren't restricting the jacket from being removed. Move the arms back like so, and then you can bring the arms completely down and just slide them off the back just like that. And then from there you want to just replace the hands out. Despite the jacket looking so good on the figure, even really the jacket off, the figure looks great with just the t-shirt and khakis on. Getting a better look at his face though, without any doubt at all, this is definitely Steve McQueen. And for that matter too, if you had the proper tools, the proper clothing to swap this out with, you could also make Steve McQueen here from also Bullet. I mean, the face is very, very accurate. The creases, the little lines and wrinkles in his face definitely gives you a look of Steve McQueen. What I also think gives a very successful look to this figure too is the coloring of the flesh color in his face. There's something about it, and this is a hand-painted piece. They really have nailed the coloring of skin. And also too, like the coloring in his eyes, there's almost a wetness to his eyes that give him that reflection. I almost feel as if too, there's a little bit of slick or wetness that's been added right around the brow area too, that also gives it that realistic look. His hair is sculpted very nice. Paint also done and applied very well also on the hair. The accessories that come with Captain Virgil Hilts. Of course, we've already looked at his flight jacket, but it's worth looking at again. The orange interior to it, the stitch work to the jacket is done very well, and also it has a working zipper. He also comes included with a carry bag that can be opened up. Now, when you open it up though, the inside is actually just going to be padding. It's just enough to kind of beef the bag up. So you would not necessarily want to have it opened. I suppose you could probably put some of the other accessories into it, but you can take the bag and just drape it over his shoulder like that. He also comes with a catcher's mitt, which is very nicely detailed. Smart thing as well, the folks over at Star Race, as opposed to giving you a glove that you would have had to have tried to get over top of an existing hand that he's wearing already, they just decided to put a hand inside the glove. The glove is sculpted with a hand included. When you change out the hand, you're essentially just changing out the hand with the hand and glove as one piece. Very smart and a simple way to change out hands. While also sticking with the baseball theme, he comes also with a baseball. The baseball is off-white. There's more of a kind of a yellow colored tinge to it, yellow wash, giving it the look that it's an aged ball. The stitch is quite nice on it too. It's a good solid piece, though it isn't magnetic, which I guess is probably the one thing I would have said. It's a shame that the ball wasn't magnetic so it could attach to the glove. The glove actually just holds the ball in hand, but it's not actually magnetized. I guess that's the one thing I would have said. It's a shame that it wasn't magnetized just so it wouldn't go anywhere. But actually both pieces look really nice. Also included, he gets a very, very small watch. Time is indicated on there with a face, and stitched to the watch band is also very well executed. By far though, the smallest of Virgil Hilts' accessories is this very tiny pendant. The pendant is featured on a real chain, and though as small as it is, you can see that there are details sculpted into the actual pendant itself. It's a really nice looking piece. Though small, yes, but a good way to accent the character. Lastly, this figure will come with 2 extra hands. One hand suited for holding the baseball. I'll show you guys how that works in a second. And then he's also got a hand suitable for holding objects and stuff like that. If you prefer Virgil to also be sporting bare feet, you can also swap them out via the supplied extra feet that come included with the figure. I might be more inclined to probably just display him with the boots on, but I do like the fact that you get a pair of something like this included. There's very few 6 scale figures that come with bare feet as opposed to shoes, so I like that they would actually have included stuff like this. So let's go ahead and change the hands out. I want to get the gloved and balls in his hand. So we're going to take the hand out here. We're going to swap it out with the mitt hand. And because everything is already compact, there looks like there might have been a snap on there, but I wouldn't remove it. I would just leave it as is. And that just pegs right into his arm like that. And then reaching around to the other side, pop the other hand out. And we want to replace it with the baseball holding hand. Just like that. This will likely be my preferred choice to display Captain Virgil Hilts. I love the fact that you've got the glove in the one hand, the baseball, and I might add too, the baseball is held very securely by those 2 fingers, or actually I guess by those 3 fingers. This though is going to be definitely by far the way I'm going to display the piece. When it comes to his articulation, well, he does have a ball joint in the neck. The ball joint actually sits right at the bottom base section of the neck. You can actually feel it right there where that joint works. Sadly, though, he doesn't have any articulation from the neck or from the head area. There's no ball joint there. So unfortunately, when you move it, you're only ever moving it by the neck. It's not too much of a limitation. I wish, though, that they had put the ball joint right at the head as well and the neck, so you could have got some extra movement there. When it comes to his torso, we can actually lift the t-shirt up, and you can see he's sporting just a standard articulated body. So he has the crunch, upper torso crunch in his top torso area, but then he's got a secondary crunch and swivel in the waist section as well. Arms work on a ball hinge joint. They move very, very easily out, forward and back. And if we move the sleeve up, you can see that he sports a double bend in that elbow. And he has a double hinge, or a single hinge with rotation in the hand as well. When it comes to his legs again have quite a bit of movement, not restricted at all by the pants that he's wearing. They move out fairly easy, forward and back. He doesn't have a swivel so much at the top of his thigh, but it appears that he has a swivel point right there, about mid-thigh. He has a double bend at the knee, and then when it comes to his feet, or his shoes in this instance, we can roll up the pant leg to show you guys what the shoes look like. He does have a swivel point in the boots as well. They don't look like they so much have a ball joint, but they do swivel back and forth very, very easily. Star Ace once again has produced a fantastic 6 scale figure. While the younger audiences may not necessarily know who Steve McQueen is, it's the older collectors out there that are going to gravitate towards pieces like this. As also too, as somebody that grew up with, again, my dad watching some of the old vintage movies like Great Escape, Bullet, for example, I myself am happy to add this guy to my collection. He represents not only something that my dad loved watching, but he also represents something that I grew up watching through the process of hanging out with my dad. Also too, I have to say I'm really impressed that Star Ace would approach an older character as opposed to just giving us something, you know. It goes to show that they can approach something like the Harry Potter movies towards something that the newer collectors are going to gravitate towards, but then still catering to the older collectors like myself that would recognize these characters right away. It would be curious to see if they expand and continue to release more Legends characters. I definitely would be curious to see what kind of characters we would be getting. And maybe, you know, while we throw this out here, while we wrap up this video, if you guys can let me know down below, who would you like to see Star Ace approach for an older movie character, an older movie icon like Steve McQueen? I'm just trying to even think of, you know, other characters out there as well, like some even like the Avengers, and I say like the old vintage Avengers TV series. That would be kind of cool for them to release. I mean, there are so many TV and movie characters. There certainly is, the sky's the limit when it comes to 6 scale pieces. But I am pleased, super cool to have added this guy to my collection. Today's collectible spot, we're looking at the Star Ace Steve McQueen, or Captain Virgil Hilts, From the 1963 classic, The Great Escape, we were looking at the 1/6 scale collectible figure of that character. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you guys next time.